Hey guys, Kev here, and let's talk about a couple best techs. I did some cut testing, and when I say cut testing, I don't mean I was checking how many feet of cardboard they could cut on an edge or whatever, right? I'm saying I just cut some shit, and I got some impressions, right? So I actually, instead of talking about just these three, let's talk about everything I have here, right? This is everything I just cut with to get a feel for them. Try to do that before I do, overviews or whatever, right? So these are the knives, 3, 6, 7 knives I just cut some shit with. I was cutting this stuff that came in a package, and then I took a priority medium flat rate and sliced that puppy up. I got some other media here, and nothing like crazy. I don't have any cords or anything. It's just cardboard, paper stuff. The stuff that I would cut. You know what I mean? And I have some thoughts. My first thought is this guy here. This is the Best Tech. It's an O-stop Hell design. What the hell is this thing called? Hold on. The Beehive. This one's called the Beehive. It's in 14C. And it has a gray and satin blade with red G10 and a brass pivot collar. Now, this thing's actually pretty cool. It's a little guy, a little liner lock. I love the way Best Tech does their G10 on a lot of their knives. It's just, it really makes, to me, it makes G10 viable. I'm not really a G10 guy, but I actually like the way they do it sometimes. I'm getting some stick here, so I'm just trying to clean the tang off. Pretty sure it's just oil on shit. I'd have to clean it up to get it out, but don't really want to do that. No play, no rock. Yeah, and there it's gone now. So see if it stays gone. But this guy's really small. So it's a little bit hard to manipulate. The front flipper, and then you have reverse flick, which works fine. Thumb flick, I haven't really tried. You can do that. And then left-handed, it's a liner lock. So front flip, reverse flick. Now, the ergos, this is where in the unboxing, I just don't really know what I'm supposed to do with this, I guess, right? So is this a tactical knife? Am I supposed to, like, slice stuff and people? Because I find it very hard to use in EDC. I know a lot of people look at it and go, well, it's like a hawkbill. It's got a recurve. This is going to be really good at opening packages and shit. Well, I tried doing that with this, and it just, I don't know, it's almost like too aggressive maybe. It just doesn't want to cut stuff really well for me. Now this stuff, like, you can get in there and then it'll tear through, right? But even then, like, you have to get it perfect because you have such a small blade. And it just doesn't feel like, it just doesn't want to cut, in my opinion, very well. Now, case in point is when you grab some, I'm going to zoom out, and I know it's going to show more of my desk, and I'm okay with that. So hopefully you guys are too. Let me see if I can get it where it just clears. There we go. So here's some cardboard, right? And if we take this guy and cut some cardboard, what happens? It just, like, it's not, I don't know, it's not clean. Does it work? Sure. Is it enjoyable to cut with? No, not at all. So, yeah. In practice, in use for me, this guy's a no-go. Now, sure, it could get to that, tape and slice through pretty good. But I honestly had some struggle with the tip, too. I don't know if this one's just kind of like, if it's bent over a little bit or what, but I just struggled with this tip a little bit too. So not my favorite on this one, but I think it's meant for more, that lock sticks back, I think it's meant for more of a tactical role. So that's the Beehive. Then you have the Icarus here. This is a upcoming knife from Best Tech, designed by Nick from Niche Designs, Nick Rogers. Really cool design. It's got this sort of clip point-ish blade to it, like a sheep's clip. Frame lock. It's got his sort of custom thumb stud design. I do struggle a little bit with the frame lock. I tend to get my finger on it and lock it up. But you can reverse flick it really well. It's got a front flipper on it that, again, I kind of lock up a little bit. better at it left-handed. Thumb flick left-handed is really good. Nice small size. I mean, very EDC-able. This is going to be a really cool knife, I think, especially if you're right-handed. I mean, left-handed, I can't really reverse flick it well, so, you know, it's probably out for me. I'm not really a thumb stud guy anyway, but I think in general, and if you're right-handed, this knife is objectively fantastic. I love these studs. Love the action on this. Just really, really good. This one's an M390. And even though you have that belly out to the tip, it is pretty useful to slice with. So I can get a good grip like this, get my thumb up here, and come through the cut really well. And I have no problem getting through this stuff, right? I enjoy it very much. Now, again, you're going to have that belly up to the tip. So for this kind of stuff, utility cutting, not as good, but it still works because of the way it clips so low. You still have a pretty low tip there, right? So let's just check it out on this stuff. See how this does against this. Yeah, so I guess most things struggle through this. Because it just is so weak, I guess it just kind of tears. But there, it even comes out of this fine, you know. So I really like this guy. Cuts really well. It's ergonomic. It feels good in the hand. Very neutral. And it's got a good blade on it. So I think for EDC, this guy's going to be really solid. That's the Icarus. This is the Slither from Best Tech. And I was surprised by this guy because I looked at it and I was like, eesh, you know, that's going to be a thick boy, right? And it is. It is a very thick grind. But they put a good edge on it. You know, it's sharp. I guess that's steel. I didn't even check to see if that's... Pretty sure it's a steel liner. Yeah. But even though it has that larger, thicker blade on it, it does slice pretty well, you know? And you get a lot of power behind it, so that helps, obviously. But you can see it's pretty thick, but you can get some cleaner cuts. Now, you know, as soon as that edge starts to dull out, you're probably gonna regret it and want to go grab something a little bit thinner. So obviously take that into consideration. And then speaking of thicker knives, we have the Riot XO-M here. And I really enjoy this knife. I love the action on it. I love fidgeting with it. But I really want it to be a little bit more EDC friendly on the blade. And, you know, I'm not the use your shit guy really, right? But this is one where I notice that it's not thin. You know, it's just thicker behind the edge. And it's not terrible. Like, if you go to cut with this guy, it's kind of like that Slither where you can get it, right? Like, it'll cut. Maybe a little bit better. But it's still not, like, the most enjoyable thing in the world, right? It basically gets the job done. But I would want it to be thinner. Now, can it be thinner? I don't know, because it's, you know, 3V, and it's meant to be, I think, thicker so that it can withstand all that jostling, you know? And then we get into the Kaisers, and there's really, you just can't go wrong on these. The Drop Bear and LC200N here, I mean, they have a good grind on it. Kaiser's got that down. And it just, like, picking up any of these three, it's almost like night and day compared to the others, except for maybe the Icarus. This one in particular, the Clairvoyant, is an absolute beast. I mean, look at it. You got a really large sheep's foot style blade with an upsweep, sort of a lot of belly, but comes down to a really thin edge because it's a taller blade. And, you know, you get a nice large handle, comfortable grip. You can choke up if you want. And it's, I mean, it's like butter. VS35EN just does really well on this. And then I was a little bit surprised by the sheepdog. I expected it to be like ridiculous. Like I expected it to be the best out of any of these because you have such a tall blade, right? You have so much blade to come down to a thin edge and not overly thick stock, right? Let's see. 0.13 I'm getting. So it's not like thick stock. And then look at how tall it is. I mean, compare it to the Clairvoyant, which is a pretty tall blade. It's like ridiculous. So I just expected it to be the best cutter ever almost, you know. And while it's really good, it has a lot of weight behind it, you know, so it's very easy to cut with. It is really good, don't get me wrong. I just kind of expected it to feel somehow like way better than even this guy. But I don't know. I think they're about even. Maybe this one's even a little bit better. Like, look at that. So I don't know why that is. You know, somebody can enlighten me. Maybe it's just me and the way I'm cutting. But it's still fantastic. I mean, it's a laser beam. I just thought it would be even more so. And this thing, the action is stupid on it. They crushed the D10 on this somehow. I don't, like, it's crazy to do that on a knife this size. So anyway, guys, there's some thoughts on the cutting performance, at least for my kind of cutting, cardboard, paper, all that kind of stuff for these 7 knives. I try to do this when I can with knives that I'm reviewing. Usually the knives end up in my pocket, and then I'll, you know, cut stuff day to day, and I'll have an idea. But I just have a lot of stuff in right now, so I was like, you know what, let me sit down and just cut with them all, and then I can give my thoughts. And I prefer to give my thoughts quick on stuff like that so that I have it fresh of mind. You know what I mean? What I've learned here is that Kaiser does a great job with their S35EN and their grinds and sharpening and all of that. Thick knives are thick knives. You know what I mean? Like, thick stock is thick stock. That's what you're going to get. Best Tech did a great job on this. And then this guy just, I don't really understand it. Like, I want it to be so good, but like, you know, and it feels sticky sharp. I should cut some paper and see, like, how does it do on paper? Just, is it just the angle? You see here it just tearing? Is it just the angle on that because of the recurve? Am I like getting into a goofy angle and then it doesn't want to, you know what I mean? But in all honesty, I'm pretty sure this thing was designed to like hold like this and do this. You know what I mean? And it is pretty comfortable in this grip. Once I kind of got used to it, it's very small, but it's pretty comfortable in this grip. The way this is set up, it's almost like it's meant to be held like this, but it's so small that like there's no doing that. I mean, unless you held it like this and you were supposed to cut yourself. But I think this is how it's meant to be held. But then you have, you know, you're right here. You know, I don't know who would want to do that. So that leaves me with this, which is very cramped. And, like, I don't know how I would do stuff. Like, am I just doing this? You know, I don't know. You guys tell me. I really am curious about what this is for. And my unboxing hasn't gone up yet. So I asked a lot of these questions in there. So if you hear the repeated questions, that's why. I'm sure you already answered me. So it is cool. It is well made. So if it's your style, they did a good job on it. And no qualms about, you know, picking one up, I would say. Just make sure it's for you. But yeah, that's it. So let me know what you guys think down below. A little bit different video for me. I'm going to go clean up because my wife is probably going to be pissed. She was just vacuuming in here earlier. I love you guys, truly, dearly. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.